Satyajit Ray, Childhood Days, a Memoir. Translated from the Bengali by Bijoya Ray. Read by Elvis Mathias. Childhood Days. Satyajit Ray was born on the 2nd of May 1921 in Calcutta. After graduating from Presidency College, Calcutta in 1940, he studied art at Rabindranath Tagore's University, Shantiniketan. By 1943, Ray was back in Calcutta and had joined an advertising firm as a visualizer. He also started designing covers and illustrating books brought out by Signet Press. A deep interest in films led to his establishing the Calcutta Film Society in 1947. During a 6-month trip to Europe in 1950, Ray became a member of the London Film Club and managed to see 99 films in only 4.5 months. In 1955, after overcoming innumerable difficulties, Satyajit Ray completed his first film, Pather Panchali, with financial assistance from the West Bengal government. The film was an award-winning at the Cannes Film Festival and established Ray as director of international stature. Together with Aparajito, The Unvanquished in 1956, and Apur Shongshar, The World of Apu, 1959, it forms the Apu trilogy and perhaps constitutes Ray's finest work. Ray's other films include Jolsha Ghor, The Music Room, 1958, Charulota, 1964, Orunner Din Ratri, Days and Nights in the Forest, 1970, Shatranj Ke Khilari, The Chess Players, 1977, Ghore Bairi, The Home and the World, 1984, Gono Shotru, Enemy of the People, 1989, Shakha Pro Shakha, Branches of a Tree, 1990, and Agontuk, The Stranger, 1991. Ray also made several documentaries, including one on Tagore. In 1987, he made the documentary Shukumar Ray to commemorate the birth centenary of his father, perhaps Bengal's most famous writer of nonsense verse and children's books. Satyajit Ray won numerous awards for his films. Both the British Federation of Film Societies and the Moscow Film Festival Committee named him one of the greatest directors of the second half of the 20th century. In 1992, he was awarded the Oscar for Lifetime Achievement by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, and in the same year, he was also honored with the Bharat Ratna. Apart from being a filmmaker, Satyajit Ray was a writer of repute. In 1961, he revived the children's magazine Sandesh, which his grandfather, Upendra Kishore Ray, had started and to which his father used to contribute frequently. Satyajit Ray contributed numerous poems, stories and essays to Sandesh, and also published several novels in Bengali, most of which became bestsellers. In 1978, Oxford University awarded him its D.Litt degree. Satyajit Ray died in Calcutta in April 1992. Bijoya Ray was born in 1918 and spent the first 13 years of her life in Patna, where her father worked as a barrister. She moved to Calcutta in 1931 along with her family, where she and Satyajit Ray happened to stay in the same house. She went on to become an accomplished singer and recorded her songs with Hindustan Records. After graduating, she joined the Bengali film industry and also went to Bombay. It was while she was in Bombay in 1948 that she got married to Satyajit Ray. When Ray revived Sandesh in 1961, Bijoya became an occasional contributor. After her husband's death in 1992, she has become one of the editors of Sandesh and has also written for other eminent Bengali journals. Bijoya Ray lives in Calcutta with her son Shandip. Translator's note: anyone even remotely familiar with my husband's work or his personality would know that he aroused not just curiosity in people, but a feeling of awe. Perhaps that is how every celebrity appears to those who admire him, a figure larger than life, almost unreal in its immensity. Those who knew him well, however, were aware that he was in fact just the opposite of how he might have appeared. The man who towered over everyone else, not only in physical height, but in every other sense, quite possibly seemed remote and aloof to outsiders. To his family and friends he was no different from other normal men, warm, affectionate, hospitable, helpful, and as willing to have a laugh as anyone else. Many of those who knew and worked with him closely have told me that what they remember most about him is his smile and the booming laughter he often broke into when he was amused. Considering his lineage, it is hardly surprising that Manik should have been blessed with a fine sense of humor and a warm, positive approach to life. It would have been surprising if the grandson of Upendra Kishore and the son of Shukumar Ray had not turned out to be a humanist. His films bear enough evidence of his concern and sympathy for people. But it was when he began writing for the Sandesh magazine for children, which he revived in 1961, that I think he became closer to his admirers. Even if adults still revered him from afar, their children had no hesitation in hailing Manik as a friend, one who understood their joys and sorrows, and could be relied upon to remain on their side at all times. It was for this reason that the curiosity regarding Manik's own childhood grew steadily. Usually, Manik did not like talking about himself. If anyone asked him direct questions, he answered them, but confined himself to facts. So everyone learnt about when and where he was born, where he lived, and which school he went to. This did not, however, tell anyone about what he did as a child, what he thought, who he played with, what was his family like, what interested him, and how the seeds were sown in his early life that made him the man he was. Childhood Days, Jokhon Choto Chilam, serialized in Sandesh, answered these questions. It was the only piece of his writing in which he spoke about himself and his family. It is not difficult to see why these brief accounts came to be so widely read. The readers of Sandesh, for whom the memoirs were chiefly intended, were delighted to discover that the famous editor of their magazine, the creator of the legendary Feluda and Shonku, had been a normal, happy child, no different from themselves. Like them, he had been puzzled at times by the behavior of adults, but had learnt not to question them. Like many children, he too had to face teachers of whom he was afraid, and when it came to his classmates, he had to put up with endless teasing, for no one spared him just because he came from a distinguished background. To the adults who read them, these memoirs provided an insight into the mind of the celebrated filmmaker and writer, his ideas and beliefs that took shape during his formative years. For those who wanted to produce articles and books on Satyajit Ray, Jokhon Choto Chilam became a vital point of reference. Soon after its publication, Manik began to receive from various people, both in India and abroad, offers to translate the whole collection into English. Some even went to the extent of actually doing it and sending it to Manik, apparently confident that he would be flattered into giving his permission for its publication. Had the quality of any of these translations been acceptable, he might well have considered giving his approval. Sadly, such was not the case. Yet it was obvious, both to Manik and myself, that if the collection could be translated properly, there was a much wider audience that would welcome it with open arms. Eventually, Manik decided to translate it himself, but the pressure of filmmaking and his own failing health made it impossible. When he passed away in 1992, for a long time, I did not think of his childhood memoirs at all. I was then working on the manuscript of My Years with Oppo, trying to salvage something out of a rough draft that he had left behind. When that was done, it occurred to me one day that perhaps now was the time to do something about childhood days. I knew better than anyone else how much it had meant to Manik. To be honest, it meant a lot to me too, because it spoke of a time I had lived in. It spoke of people I had known. For this reason, instead of passing it on to anyone else, I decided to take on the job of translating Childhood Days myself. Perhaps it is not generally known that Manik and I had grown up together. There are many childhood memories that we shared. He has related some of these. Others I still cherish in my heart. Leafing through the pages of this book and reading about his earliest memories, my mind often goes back to a particular incident when we were both small. Let me tell you about it. Manik came to a house in Patna for a visit. One day, one of our aunts, the singer Konok Biswas, suggested a drawing competition between him and me. This came about.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?